Okay, so we are given a second degree polynomial. It says f of x is equal to 4x squared plus 80x minus 16. And they've asked us to put this equation into vertex form, then identify the vertex, the line of symmetry, and the interval where f of x is increasing and decreasing. So the big one here is you need to know how to put a polynomial in vertex form, okay? To put a quadratic in vertex form, you have to complete the square. So I'm going to make sure that if you see this, you know how to do it, okay? So let's take this particular polynomial here, and we're going to just write it down. And instead of putting f of x, I'm going to put y, okay? So I'm going to put y equals 4x squared plus 80x minus 16. Now, and I'm going to tell you the process. To complete the square on a quadratic, actually to complete the square on anything, you are going to follow a series of steps. The first step is that this lead coefficient has to be 1. Since it is not, we're going to divide by 4. Since I divided that by 4, I have to divide everything by 4. Okay? What does this give me? Well, it gives me y over 4 is equal to x squared plus 20x minus 4. Okay? So that's step 1. Step 1 is the lead coefficient. The coefficient for the x squared has to be a 1. Now, I like what ifs. What if this first term was already a 1? Then you would skip this first step. Okay? But it's not, so we have to do it. All right. Step 2. Constant term needs to be on the other side of this equation. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get y over 4 plus 4 equals x squared plus 20x. Okay? Cool. Now, this comes the part where we're actually completing the square. Completing the square is, if you recall, we have polynomials that look like this, and we have polynomials, should just be a squared. I don't know why I'm putting the x squared in there. It's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay? These are called perfect square trinomials, and they factor into a plus b quantity squared and a minus b quantity squared. Okay? When we complete the square, we're actually trying to turn a polynomial into one of these. Now, since my center term is positive, I'm shooting for this guy. Okay? So I assume automatically this is a squared. This is 2ab, and I need to find b squared. Now, let me walk you through how we do this. I'm going to take this first term and I'm going to divide by 2. Okay? Now, if I take 2ab and divide it by 2, that's just going to give me what? AB. Fair enough? Well, come over here. X squared is a squared. So that means a is just x. Okay, so I'm going to take this term, divide it by 2, and I'm going to drop off the x. Now, if I divide this by 2, and then I drop off the x, what do I have? I just have a b. Okay, b is 10. I need to add b squared. So I take this term and I square it. Now, if you understood that, that's great. If you're still not quite with me, take this middle term, divide by 2, square it. Bam. Okay, so that's 100. Because I added this to the right-hand side, I have to add it to the left-hand side. Okay? Now, take this here and factor it. Factor it. Well, because I just forced this to look like this, the factors are a plus b squared. And I just told you that that's b. Okay, so what's a plus b squared. That's going to be x plus 10 squared. Cool. Okay. How about over here? I've got y over 4 is equal to, plus 104 is equal to that. All right, now I want to solve for y because that's going to make me an equation that I can graph, okay? So I'm going to move this guy over. So I get y over 4 is equal to x plus 10 squared minus 104, okay? Last step is I'm going to multiply by 4, and I'm going to multiply by 4 here, here, and here. Okay, multiply every term by 4. I end up with y equals, 4 x plus 10 squared, and then 4 times 104 is going to be 416, right? Okay, cool. That is vertex form. That's vertex form. And why is that handy to me? Because this, let me switch to a different color here so it can kind of point it out. This is going to be my horizontal translation. And this is going to be my vertical translation. Horizontal translation, vertical translation. Okay? Well, vertical translations always go in the direction that they say they go. So minus 416, that's going to be down 416 units from 0, 0, because the original parent function of x squared goes through 0, 0. All right? And then x plus 10 quantity squared is going to be to the right. To the left 10. Okay? Because horizontal translations, anything that's grouped with x, always goes backwards. So plus 10 would be to the right. It's going to be backwards. Okay? Now, why is that important? Well, because they asked me to identify the vertex. Okay? So there's vertex form, and we're going to move left 10 down 416. So what do we know? We know that the vertex, if I go left 10 and down 416, is negative 10, comma, negative 416. Okay, so there's answer number 2. Now, before I go any further, I want to sketch this thing. Okay, so it's y equals x squared. Anytime you have y equals x squared, you're going to end up with a graph that looks something like that. Okay? And here's the vertex. Negative 10, comma, negative 416. Okay? Now, they've asked me for the line of symmetry. The line of symmetry is a vertical line that goes through the vertex. Okay? Well, vertical lines always have a format of x equals a number. Well, at this point, what does x equal? Well, it equals negative 10. So there's your line of symmetry. There's your line of symmetry. Okay? Cool. And then the last thing they ask me is the intervals that this function is increasing and decreasing. Okay? So I'm going to go increasing, increasing, and I'm going to go decreasing. Okay? Now, picture you're on this function. It's a roller coaster. You're going to go down, 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 down. You're going to get to the bottom, and then you're going to go where? Up, 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 up. Okay? Decreasing is while you're going down. Well, you're going down, 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 down until you get to the vertex, which is at this point. Okay? So we're going to say that this function is decreasing from negative infinity to negative 10. Okay? And this is just like domain. It's going to be based on the x values of the function. Okay? Then we get to negative 10. What happens? We start going where? Up, 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 up. So we're going to be increasing from where? Negative 10 all the way to infinity. Okay? And then the question becomes, well, what about negative 10? Well, at negative 10, you're not decreasing. You're not increasing. you're stopped. You're kind of in that in-between, and so it doesn't go with either of these intervals, okay? So if you're asked for these pieces of information given a quadratic, this is how you find them, okay? So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I hope this helps someone. And, you know, if, like I said, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. And if you have a video you want to see made, or you have a question you want answered, let me know.